Pastor Kevin here with our Saturday reading of Advent for Everyone. This story about Peter's denial of Jesus. It's a real interesting one to read about at a time of Advent. It's interesting to read this story about the moments of Jesus' crucifixion as we're preparing for his coming. But I think that N.T. Wright emphasizes some main things in this text that are really important. He really plays to this understanding of the final verse of this section where he says that Peter went out and cried like a baby after he denied Jesus those 3 times. And what Wright points out in this is that there's a difference between genuine repentance, between truly wanting to turn around and doing it, and between just mere remorse. A lot of times we feel remorse. It means that we don't really want to change at all. We just feel bad that we got caught or that we got hurt. And he says that that's kind of what Judas will do in the next chapter of this. And I think that's a real interesting perspective. The second thing that we notice in this text is this idea that Peter's story of denial was included in all 4 Gospels. If the Gospel writers were concerned about making their early leaders seem like those people who should have been in control and in power, and Peter was one of those early leaders of the church, then you don't think they would have included this. But clearly Peter's story is there to show us a lesson, Wright says almost, of what not to do, of how not to cave in the face of pressure. And finally, I think Peter's story included here makes us question personally, how are we like Peter? How do we go about in our daily lives denying Jesus? Wright provides those questions and examples of it on page 59 in the middle. Maybe of subtle ways that we go about denying Jesus in our daily life. Maybe those ways in which we're not living for him in maybe the same passion and vigor that we could, or maybe ways in which we're just not proud of him or of our Christian faith. Instead, it sometimes takes a back seat for the means of fitting in or things like that. I encourage us to consider those answers to that question of how we deny Jesus in our lives even today. God bless you this weekend, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.